Hello, my name's Niranjan, the host of Master of Your Crafts podcast. Learning from leaders who are continuously inspired, passionate, and driven to align with their soul purpose, sharing their gifts to bring healing to others. The music is composed by Rebecca Everett. Today is episode number 19, where we'll talk to Yolande Viljoen, who is a business strategist turned medicine woman. She guides business owners back to their soul purpose gently with aligned business, marketing, and shamanic ceremonies. Yolande is here to teach more business owners that they can acquire their own definition of abundance in the technological world. She's a mom of 2 boys and shares her life with her twin flame. So hello and welcome to Yolande. How are you, Yolande?
Good, thank you. I'm really good today.
I'm excited to have you on the podcast because I'm curious in what is it you deliver and how you deliver to the world your mastery in your craft of honing the skills of others, bringing them together so they can enhance who they are and what they do. So with that, tell me a little bit about what is it you believe about yourself, in who you are, and do you feel that that actually defines who you are?
Good question. Who I believe I am is I am someone who came to remember certain energy medicine gifts that allows me to hold space for people to come back to their soul and to reconnect with their soul. And I am a firm believer that we have more than one destiny, but it's about holding space for people to give themselves permission to create their own destiny. Who I also believe I am is, I'm just a conduit, and I'm also required to enjoy being the conduit. I am required to embody everything I teach, and my sole purpose on this planet, in this life, is to find my soul essence, and I do that by serving. And that's also who I am, is I'm an earth keeper. I am the keeper of the earth. I'm here to protect the earth as much as I can and being the conduit for healing people. So do I think I'm defined by that? Definitely not, because I have so many roles that are in that one belief of who I believe I am, and I think we go through these stages of this embodiment process of being a medicine woman and being an earth keeper. Really, we go through so many stages of saying, I love this, I want to do this, and then we go super fast and we want to share our gifts so quickly and radically with the world, and then we kind of forget pieces of ourselves. And for me, I do not define myself by one of those roles. I don't even think I define myself really. I don't like to put myself in a box. There's a lot of things about me that it's very evident that I don't like being put in a box. So the moment I feel I'm being put in a box, I kind of rebel a little bit. But we also need to find the balance, because sometimes a box is not too bad. So I'm really a very take it as it comes type of person. If something doesn't work out, there's always an opportunity behind it. There's always, my highest good is always first, no matter if it's whatever the outcome is.
It's really interesting how, yes, there is no definition of who we are. And yes, there is no one word, essentially, that nobody wants to be put in, because there are so many facets of us, right? There's so many elements of us. Whether we're a mother, we wear a different hat. Whether you're a sister, you wear a different hat. Whether you're a colleague or a friend, we all wear very many different hats. And even in with that, it can be labeled, boxed, as you put it. What do you feel is your calling here on this planet, being birthed in who you are? And what is it you do with all the things that you've just shared, have not been defined, but having those other elements of you? What do you feel is your calling?
So I really believe where I am now, I'm 28 years old, and I do still know that there are many things that's going to come across my path, and I will change my mind perhaps on what my calling is. But where I am now in this moment in time, I am a shaman, I am a medicine woman, and my calling right now is to help other medicine women see how easy it can be to do the work that they want to do, because we get so wrapped up in, okay, we need the finances sorted, okay, we need the clients, we need all those things, and we operate in a world, in a mind full of lack. And my calling right now is to show the medicine women and the soulpreneurs, the spiritual entrepreneurs out there, that their work has a place. And that's why I'm busy with a lot of things in my community that's giving spiritual entrepreneurs and medicine women the opportunity to be visible and to teach, because that's really what I want to do. I just want them to teach. I just want them to, feel heard and seen and recognized for who they are. Because we also, when we get too deep into the marketing side of things, we get into spaces where we are completely misaligned, and we start going for goals that really it's not even us. And my calling right now is to bring medicine women back to their medicine so that they can serve and share as their whole selves. And that's really something that's, what is your whole self? And what I feel that is enjoying every single moment. What I just explained is actually the archetype of the hummingbird. Just taking a few seconds and thinking about the hummingbird, we don't really know a lot about what it does, and its patterns of life and its migration or whatever. We don't really know those things except if you go Google it. But what that archetype really signifies is enjoying the nectar of life in every moment, in the good moments, in the low moments, in the exciting moments, in the traumatic moments, because it's all there to get you to what is for your highest good. And that's really what I feel my calling is at this stage, is to just make people see that everything is a step to the next thing, every single thing. And also then to hold space for the moments where they do feel that they are struggling to deal with what is coming up. So it's really about shifting between these archetypes and exploring what Earth has to give us, the medicine of the Earth, and incorporating that. I feel a big part of my calling is definitely reconnecting with the Earth and then using that in the work I do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I love the analogy used of the hummingbird, because even just the thought of the hummingbird creates an essence of lightness, flexibility, and spaciousness. And the analogy of the nectar. Yes, we're in a playground on this planet that is so vast, with positive elements of play, but also the opposite too. But I think that's the premise of where we are on this planet. There is such a polarity, there is duality while we are here in this plane. So hopefully we'll be able to encourage others to use the medicine of the planet and their own inner knowing to be able to elevate, to get out of this duality.
It's exactly like you say, we live in duality. And it's so interesting that you're bringing this up, because I just started with a new 18-month course, which is all about neuroandrogyny embodiment, where we go back to what we were before we were two things, either this or that, because that is separation consciousness.
That's right.
And it's about also making people aware of that, but in a very gentle way. You know, we don't need to, I think what we kind of associate these days, or for me, you know, I was new in all the personal development stuff last year, still this year, really. And it always felt very quick, and you know, they do mindset processes with you that makes you see your hurt, and it makes you realize a lot of things, and makes you cry and makes you release. But there's no integration, I feel, with that. And I just really want to see more people conveying this information in a gentle way. As humanity, if we continue to leverage and milk the darkest parts of things so that people are attracted to the potential of working with us. I hope this is making sense. I'm speaking purely out of a marketing point of view. You know, it's so normal these days to just say, okay, what's their biggest struggle? Let's milk their biggest struggle, because it's such a struggle for them. Let's milk that before we tell them what we can do for them. And it's such a dangerous game to play, because I don't even want to know how many people have felt shame or anxiety or even depression after they read certain marketing materials, because that's the point. And for me, I actually just want to shed a light on this gentle way of marketing, meeting people exactly where they are, instead of us telling them, okay, I'm telling you this is where you are, and this is what we're going to do to help you with that. And taking those two parts, masculine, feminine, the good, the bad, the light, the dark, all of those things, bringing it together and positioning it to people in a way that still makes them feel safe every step of the way, which I do think is also the role of medicine women in general. And that's why I say that every person is a medicine woman or a medicine man. It's just about activating your medicine by believing in your medicine and believing in your wisdom that you've acquired over your lifetime.
Absolutely. And so interesting how you bring it back to how people are going to receive the information. Because I truly believe that people only receive with the lens that they are at, be it they're in a victim space, regardless of what you put in front of them, and regardless of how you position it, they will see it from a victim space. They won't be able to see it from the other area. And that's their journey, and that's completely fine. I agree with you in terms of creating a space and holding space for individuals to land and to be vulnerable and to expose. But in the same token, there are many who maybe not are awake to go to that space. And the journey of life, the journey of evolution of their soul and their essence, and the journey of their purpose.
Yeah.
Even if it's to bring duality.
Exactly. And that's also the amazing part that I feel I've really felt into more the last 2 months, because you know, when we commit to transform, the universe will make you transform. And
Yeah.
I think 2 months ago or something, I wrote a post online. And in this post, I said, bring it on, universe. And 2 days later, I messaged a friend and I'm like, I just want to tell you that this is how I'm feeling. I don't feel good and it's feeling really not great right now, but I just wanted to say it, and now I said it. And this person said back to me, she said to me, be careful of promising the universe stuff because it's going to bring it. And one of the big lessons for me in the last 2-3 months was really holding space, even for the people that I don't necessarily agree with, because exactly where they are now is part of my journey. And I think I immersed so much into the medicine woman side of things because the way of thinking, the way of life, it just takes off all this pressure, all this responsibility that conditioning has added to our shoulders, that perception has added to our shoulders. It just slowly dissolves all those layers. And I think I've been able to apply that to my business. And that's why it's really just this like melting pot of exploration and seeing people for who they are, for their unique gifts. And I think that's why I really enjoy still staying in the business space while doing the spiritual work, because I think it can maybe be confusing for people to think, how is a shaman a business coach and how do those two fit together? But I think it's the outcomes and the intentions behind it is different because of the element added. So it's been interesting the last 3 months and the lessons learned.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. The grand saying goes, be careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah,
Be careful what you wish for. There is so
totally.
much power behind our words. There's so much intention, even with the words that you uttered of bring it on, universe. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's really interesting how the response is there.
Yeah.
What do you feel are some of the attributes of Yolande that connect you to your purpose, that align you as a medicine woman?
First would definitely be curiosity. I can't think of a day going by where I don't sit and do research for at least 2 hours. If I'm not curious, I feel that not that there will be information missing, but every time I do research, I learn a deeper meaning of the work I'm doing. So whether that is listening to a mentor's book or listening to a podcast or researching other ways of holding ceremonies, whatever the case may be, or new business techniques, and really going into, okay, what does this really mean? So curiosity would be the first thing. Willingness to dive deep into my soul and into who I am. Because the deeper I dive into who I am, I understand humanity better because I'm a human. So the deeper I dive into my shadows and what I'm struggling with, the better space I hold for everyone who comes across my path, because that's just how it works in this type of work. They say a shaman, medicine woman, medicine man, they go through the dark night of the soul. And that's so necessary, because if you're going to hold space for other people, you do need to dive deep into your own shadows and your own soul. And sometimes that happens with experiences, and sometimes that happens with integration work and shadow work and inner child work. But mostly for me, it was experiences, and it was things that happened to me that I had to connect the dots. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't like a deep diver into the soul space. And so, yeah, curiosity, willingness, and I think it's just this unconditional love thing. You know, I've been really blessed with having that. And it's not to say that other people always come before me. It's not what it's about at all. It's just that I will easily give everything I have to someone if they need it more than I do. I would easily give my time to someone if they need me in that space. What I did in the last 3 months was I actually lowered my pricing so that more people can work with me. So I continuously lowered my pricing, and now I'm at a stage where I launched a membership for $47 because I just want more people to be together. I just want more people to see each other's gifts. And now it's not about the money anymore. It's about gathering more people so that I can build the brand and share it with more parts of the world. So it's really that unconditional love of seeing others for who they are, and acceptance of others. You know, I've really seen this in my family too. You know, they say each family has a healer, and I've always felt like that, but this year I started believing it, where I could see my family's whole perception and how they treat me has changed. And even though I'm pretty sure at times they think, what is she on about? I do know that they have a much deeper level of respect for me because they see that it's working. They see that I'm transforming. So I think those three things are really what consistently keeps me on my path, you know, and keeps me in joy and keeps me in being able to do this and do motherhood and do friendships and do sisterhood and all of those things.
That's wonderful. And that's very powerful that you have been courageous to see that shift. Allow your family and friends and the people who are close to you to see that other part of you, because we often only reveal certain elements of ourselves to those who are closest to us because we know it's somewhat of a safe place for us to land. But when we truly reveal that part of us, it makes us more vulnerable.
Totally. Yeah. Freedom is vulnerable, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
fragile.
Yeah.
And that's also what I realized this year is you want freedom? Okay. Like peel the layers, show them what you want to show them. And yeah, you are 100% spot on with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's interesting when that happens. So you shared your intentions in holding space and creating an opportunity because you want more individuals, women, I probably believe is your target market, to tap into that wisdom and to tap into that space so they can give what they are here to do to others. But also in the beginning of the conversation, you talked about how many different roles we play in this thing called life. Creating that balance of who we are, what we are, where we're giving it to, the intentions behind it. Are there any other elements or aspects of you that, beyond what you have already shared in terms of your intentions with your craft, being a medicine woman, are there other attention that align you with the other roles that you play in your life, in who you are and the gifts you have to offer? And what would they be?
A big turnaround for me this year was definitely the role of motherhood. Even though I believe I am an amazing mother, sometimes I would be very disconnected with my family when I have a busy period in my business. And then a few months ago, I was just like, you know what? I think it was obviously when I started womb healing, I was just like, I want to be a better mother. I want to be a present mother. And interestingly enough, when I started embodying being a medicine woman, now I can already see the change in my children. I can already see how they are just loving being with their parents, enjoying us, and we're enjoying them. And it's definitely making a commitment. It requires me to not sit behind the laptop the whole day, you know? I can't sit behind the laptop the whole day. I must much rather go sit in the garden and chillax, you know?
Yes,
I
yes.
must connect with the earth, and I must meditate, or not must, but you know, like I am required to sit in ceremony with myself first off before I attempt to hold it for others. So the one thing I always tell people is when they are struggling with anything, I tell them, have you ever sat in ceremony with yourself? Because it's such an amazing space to go into where you're able to communicate with your full self, you know, you without the layers of conditioning. And so, yeah, that definitely contributed to my role as a mother. My curiosity definitely contributes to my relationship with my partner. It's a very interesting relationship. It's definitely a sort of a twin flame relationship where we've been through a lot together, and we continue to go through a lot together because we're both so curious, but we're also both very willing to always try and see, you know, what is the solution? Why are we not okay with each other right now? And the way that we resolve challenges is super deep, because we figure out what are our souls trying to achieve here, because our humanness is fighting against that. So how do we support each other again? How do we support our souls? So that also definitely played a role in my relationship. And then I think the other thing that really also happened was just this self-acceptance of saying, you know what, I don't care who thinks I'm weird or who thinks I'm a juju woman or whatever, you know, I don't care about that. And I wouldn't have gotten there if I didn't embody what I'm embodying now. And that's why, for the first time in my life, really this year, I feel finally like myself. I feel finally like I am needed. There's a place for me, a very important place. And I think we all have that important place, but all of those things supported me to get to this stage. And it was because of my willingness and my curiosity and my deep diving. So the quicker you figure out what is keeping you stuck, the quicker you figure out what ancestral patterns you are holding on to because of shame and hurt and all of those things, the quicker you dive deep into that, the quicker you will get clarity on what is your joy and where lies your nectar, because our nectar is different. I like a different flower than what you like, and that's okay. And it's also saying I can accept that you like that other flower, you know, and I'm going to hold space for that, and without expectations. So I think releasing all expectations, you know, I hear this so often, and maybe I'm going to share an opinion here, so just be careful and put the barriers up. But I don't necessarily agree with people placing the universe or manifesting conditionally, right? Like I hear so many times people saying, I told the universe that if it gives me this, I will do this. And I had to completely let go of that. I had to completely let go of that because that wasn't giving me my nectar. When I released expectations and started enjoying moment by moment by moment, uh, things changed massively because I wasn't holding space for negative energy anymore and for negative possibilities, really. So, yeah, I would say really my craft is the reason why I feel the most balanced I've ever felt in my life. And I'm super proud to be able to say that at my age, after taking lots of risks, after going through a lot in my life. And I just want others to feel that too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, it's an experience we all want everybody to have, especially when there's joy at the end of it. And there is that deep essence of unconditional love that we tap into. It takes you to a whole nother world that we don't even recognize. So absolutely, we want other people to experience that, which is where the magic lies. But it's a courageous journey, just like it was for you. A courageous journey to be able to unravel, step into that element of belief, dismantling all those old archetypes and old elements of who we were and who we think we are, and the labels and all those pieces. But I think the belief is a very powerful one to get back into that space of who we truly, truly are as spiritual beings having this physical experience. Absolutely. So you've shared so much about you and about your craft and your own evolution and your own change and shifts and vulnerabilities. What's next for you? What is your journey going to be like? Yolanda's journey? What kind of nectar does that hummingbird seek for the future?
So for me, I just want to really take 2021 to continue harnessing this craft, really, and stay true to myself while I build this community that I'm busy building, the Sacred Leader Society. And we are planning to launch a TV platform, a streaming platform. So that's going to be a lot of work. But why I'm mentioning it is because I just want to stay true to myself as all of that's happening. I just want to create more opportunities for people, continue being an amazing mother and being able to travel. I want to travel South Africa a little bit more. I want to explore South Africa. I was never really big on travel, but then it's usually because I'm in a stuck place. And then this year it kind of like the bug bit me again, but then we were in lockdown. So now I'm just like on a mission to travel a bit and take my kids with me and just have an experience with them that doesn't include the hustle and bustle of daily life. And I'm excited to see how that turns out. A year ago, I would have said, oh, no, I don't want to travel. Like, I have work to do. And now, this year, I'm completely different space where I see the value in showing your kids more. And I'm really excited about that part. I started doing in-person cacao ceremonies now. I really want to travel South Africa and do those as well. Everywhere I go, I just want to stop and do a cacao ceremony for people. And, I really just want to spread some of the medicines that have really gotten me through some of the deepest dives this year. And cacao is a big, big medicine that has helped me as well.
What a courageous woman to recognize and to transform into who you were, to who you are, and ultimately who you will be.
Yeah, I think I just need to add in there, I wouldn't have ever been able to do this if I didn't have my very patient partner next to me, accepting me, holding space for me when I'm crazy, because I do get crazy, because passionate people sometimes get a little passionate.
Right.
And without my kids, I would never have been here, because my kids was what grounded me. they showed me that there's this other side of life, the side that I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be a mother. So just a shout out to my amazing family for sticking with me.
What a beautiful combination of truly embodying your soul and truly relishing all the elements of life that this wonderful playground has to offer, like we talked about earlier: motherhood, business, relationships, and traveling and reconnecting with the earth. So powerful. I love it.
I love it, because I never would have thought that I would hear those words about my life. And it's nice to see, hard work pays off, and committing to me every day, recommitting to me it's awesome to see it being mirrored, because I feel that it is mirrored by you right now, which is just a really awesome feeling. So thank you for mirroring
Beautiful.
that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. This has been such a delightful conversation. Such a pleasure to reconnect with you.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for your journey moving forward. And thank you so much again for all your time, your energy, and your vulnerability shares, and the deep diving, sharing so candidly with me and my audience. So thank you again, Yolande. Thank you.
It's a big pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me and for having me here. And I hope that listen to this and just know that the nectar is right in front of them. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm Naranjan, and you've been listening to Master of Your Crafts podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and join me next week for another episode. Thank you for listening.